Okay, we will. Shannon, do you want to go ahead and advance the screen for me? All right, we wanted to provide you with our contact information. Again, I'm Nicole. There, my email is up there. Dylan Bono, he's also on this meeting with us. His email, and then Jada is our absolutely amazing office manager who's up front every day. So if you come up with any questions or anything after this, please feel free to reach out to us. We're here to help, to support, to answer any other questions that you may have. I always think of things like an hour later, so if that happens to you, no worries, just shoot us an email. We're happy to answer anything that comes up later on. All right. So we're just going to go over kind of that decision-making process of what it looked like, how we got here, and then a brief overview of what we're offering. And at that point in time, you will, after we go through that, that's when you'll have an opportunity to ask us any questions. I know, so looking back at our decision-making process, what we have been following throughout the entire summer is we've had a leadership team that's been focusing strictly on these return to school plans. So it's been a few of us, and part of our board has been involved. We've worked with our teachers. We wanted to get as many voices as we could to help us make decisions. We've also been on weekly Zoom meetings with the Larimer County Health Department, school leaders from all over the state to get input. Every model that we have created and published has been in 100% compliance with the Larimer County Health Department guidelines. We work closely with them, and before we move forward with publishing anything, we do want to make sure to get their feedback and make sure that they approve it and it is in line with everything they're recommending. And then we take all that and we keep the well-being of our students, staff, and families as our top priority. So going through that process is how we landed where we are at. Because of the information that we received working with our teachers and board, we came to the decision that starting off the year in our partial remote learning option was what was going to be best for our school community, where 100%, it's all 100% online, 5 days a week, except for kindergarten and first grade. We'll get to have in-person hybrid half days. We know how important, like, for just creating that foundation for school is. And kindergarten, this isn't going to be school forever. So we want to make sure we're helping kindergartners formulate a strong foundation for school, making that connection, working on those essential skills. And first grade, not having a full year of school in person for kinder, we thought they also needed that opportunity to have some more in-person time where they're learning the structures of school and building that community. So that is how we arrived at offering that for kinder and first grade. All right. What that will kind of look like is kindergarten and first grade, while in person in our building, they will have a focus on reading, writing, and math. Then on their remote days, it will be more of a focus on social studies, science, and specials. Students, while they're here, they'll be socially distanced. They will need to wear a mask. We are going to continue to work on building that community and having a strong social emotional focus to help students adjust, get back into that structure and routine. And that's going to be for all students, whether they are in person or 100% remote. Having that structure and routine is really important. So we want to make sure that starts off on day one. Kinder and first, on those hybrid days, they will get recess every day that they're here. breakfast and lunches are available to purchase, and that goes out to the entire school community. But these lunches will be sent home with the students. We also are offering that supervised remote learning option. We wanted to work with families and help provide another option. We know this is not all that convenient or even remotely convenient for the majority of families. And so we wanted to be able to provide an option where students would be well taken care of, they're able to access their remote learning, they can engage with their teacher remotely, yet still be in a place that where they have adult supervision, they're getting food, they have recess, and so that we do have some spaces still available for that. And to sign up for the remote learning supervision, you just need to go to our website and you're more than welcome to sign up. You do need to commit to the 8:30 to 2:30 time frame. It is kind of an all or nothing for those hours. During that time, students are supervised. We have one licensed teacher and then we have 2 aides. Students are going to get recess and snack. Again, you can have breakfast and lunch purchased, or you may bring your lunch. And we want to make sure students have multiple breaks during the day. They have some individual center time. They're not going to be just in front of a screen the entire time they're here. We will be working with classroom teachers, so hopefully they can be like working with the teacher and jumping into all those live sessions that teachers are going to be presenting, but it's just going to be here as an extra support. We can help students with classwork, we can answer questions, those things. They just will not get any direct instruction from anybody in person. It will just all be remotely. Then that gets us to the remote learning option, which is basically is like the chunk of what we're doing, right? Like, so kindergarten or kinder and first will have it those off days, and then second through fifth, this will be your option. So teachers are sending out communication about what that is going to look like for their classroom. We are going to keep it as consistent as possible. It's going to be the same curriculum that AAK has used in the past. One of our approaches is looking at how much time kids should be spending in front of a screen and engaging in that online piece. So our target is about 90 minutes per day for kinder through second, 100 minutes per day, third through fifth. That is not going to include like outside work projects. I know Specials is super excited. We have great art, music, and wellness opportunities. And those are like wellness, maybe going out and playing a game, riding a scooter, talking about what that felt like, who did you see. And so there will be a lot of opportunities for kids to engage in education without just being strictly online. We still will be offering, and many of you know we've been doing the pre-assessments this week, but students will still participate in any of our formative and summative assessments that we used for instructional decision making. So right now, that would be our DIBELS testing that we're doing. We want to make sure we have good information to know where to focus individual needs right from the beginning of the school year. We're also going to be scheduling time for MAP testing, which is another tool that we use to gauge where students are academically in ELA and math, and then we use that information to make instructional decisions regarding interventions or extension activities for students. If your student receives any type of services from special education, speech, those will be offered remotely. In certain instances, they may be in person, and that will be worked out with the service provider who is working with your student. Then I wanted to also give an overview on what you can expect to see when students log into their Google Classroom. Oh, here we go. When students log in, this is what they're going to see. This is our amazing first grade team. So this is Mr. Smith and Miss Sloan. These are, we're all creating Bitmoji classrooms. So if you haven't had experience with Bitmoji, it is one of our favorites here. And what all of the screen will be interactive. So students can click on the literacy centers and that's going to take them to another web page where it's all literacy based. You can click on the newsletter, you can interact with math tools, and it's actually going to pop up manipulatives that students can use online to help support their learning. um, Specials classes, there will be direct links right on the web page, so you don't have to go somewhere else and look for the information. We're trying to be as thoughtful as possible by putting everything in one location for you to access. And then we also want to make it fun. We want to increase engagement. We want students wanting to look at the web page and see what's going on and what's happening. And by making it more interactive and just fun and colorful, we think that's going to help at least spark that initial interest. And I also know there's a lot of questions, thoughts going around about what would happen if a student does test positive or shows symptoms for COVID. And with that, here is an overview of what is recommended by the Larimer County Health Department. But in those situations, as soon as a student shows symptoms or is confirmed, we immediately are working with the health department. They provide our guidance and they walk us through exactly what needs to happen and for how long, and they stay with us through that whole journey. So from the very first onset until the very end, we work directly with the health department, and we follow their decision making. And they are working with the state level, but being in Larimer County, we do have to follow their guidelines, which right now are more restrictive than at the state level. So there's an overview if somebody was confirmed. And the next slide is just an overview of what that would be if somebody was a probable. So that maybe they were showing symptoms or somebody at home had it or had been exposed. So it wouldn't be a direct contact, but a probable. And again, in these situations, at any point in time, we go over the guidelines with the health department and we work in collaboration with them on what needs to happen. All right, and I see a ton of questions coming in through the chat. So I think the next slide is just for questions. So why don't we pop up, I will open up the chat at this time and we'll go through those. Okay, that one. Yes, having everything in one location is amazing. The more that we are learning about Google Classroom and what that looks like and how we can combine everything and make it interactive, we have just kind of had our mind blown lately, and we absolutely want to make it as easy as possible. We're trying to do that again with logins as well and passwords. So hang with us as we get all of that put together for all the teachers, but it looks like it will be very streamlined. Okay, Shannon added where the guidance is that we follow. So if you're interested in that, there's a link right in our chat room. What if a family member of a student tests positive? Do you follow the same steps? So that would be a close contact, which we would contact the health department and follow their guidance, but it would be closer to a probable case. What device do the children need to bring? A laptop or an iPad work? Yes, either one will work. We use Chromebooks a lot because they're easy and they keep, they work with everything, so that is always really nice. iPads do need to be have the latest installs on them to interact with most of our programs. So that's just something to keep in mind. If it's an outdated iPad, it's probably not going to work on everything the student is accessing. And then the next question, is there remote learning on Fridays? Yes, the students will still have work to do, projects. Teachers just aren't doing live feeds on Fridays. That's going to be a time where we're coming together and working on professional development and giving them some office hours and staff meeting time. But we will be, so you may receive, like, get emails back and forth. There just won't be any live interacting over Zoom or Google Meets. And how would you distinguish between COVID and just regular cold flu? That's a great question. At this point, we follow the guidance that is put out there. Again, if a student has a fever, they can't be here. That's nothing new. Any of those symptoms, they have to stay home until they are symptom-free for 24 hours with no use of any fever-reducing medicine or any type of other medicines. So those have stayed basically the same throughout. And again, some of that is a learning curve that comes with what we receive from the health department.
Nicole,
Will a schedule be sent out?
Do you mind?
Go ahead.
On that regard real quick. So this is Shannon.
Go ahead.
I'm the director of operations here. In that link I sent out, it kind of goes through all of these scenarios as well. So that's what we're going to be following. And it also depends, with those symptoms, with colds and flus, it depends on where we're at as a community, whether we're at minimal levels of community transmission or sustained community transmission. So I do encourage you to look at that outbreak guidance because it goes through all of these different scenarios and what level of community transmission we're in at the time.
Great, thank you for adding to that. Will a schedule be sent out for supervised learning? Yes, it will. We just finished that up today now that we really have a good idea of how many students are in each group. And we will go ahead and put that on we can attach that on our website where the other back to school plans are posted. And some of it, like right now, it is our best guess for those littles in the afternoon. Like I said, it's not that they're going to be in front of a screen all day. So some of it may change, but we'll keep you updated on what that looks like. Any idea how long this particular schedule will be in place? That is another really good question. Oh, I missed a kinder one too, so I'll go back to that one. The health department has communicated that mid to late September, they will reevaluate their guidance. And at that point, there could be changes to the guidelines. Our goal is to have in-person learning. So that is what we're going to continue to move forward. That's what we want. We want students in the building, and we want to do that when it's safe and is works with the health department guidelines. But we also don't want to continue to change plans on everybody. So at this point, we're going to go ahead, we're just moving forward with this. If plans change, you would have plenty of advance notice. So we're not putting a time or a date on that at right now, just because it's so up in the air, and we don't want to continually change these plans. We know how difficult it is when we do pivot for you as families. So we're trying to keep it as consistent as possible. So what is the class size for kinder for in-person learning? Currently, it ranges between 5 and 8 students on any given day. Okay, if we try being at home and realize that it's just not working, would supervised remote still be available? If there are slots available, we can't guarantee it, But if we have openings, absolutely, you are more than welcome to join that supervised group. Our best hope would be if we see a larger demand for it to be able to accommodate that. So we're doing what we can to make sure we accommodate everybody, but like I said, at this point, there's still spots available. Intended to use only the days they were there for in-person learning, keep them home on their off days. Is that acceptable? Yes, they can do that. So kids, if they are here, like kinder first, they can stay here for the days that they are in person, and you can keep them home on their off days. We are just we just can't have it so maybe you get picked up at 1:30 or 12:30 and 2 o'clock. We're just asking that the commitment is for the 8:30 to 2:30, but you can just do it for the days that you are already here for in-person. Will devices be supplied to students that do not have them in the supervised learning program? Yes, students in the supervised learning program can bring their own device if you would like. That is absolutely okay. If not, we do have devices for them to use while they are here for that program. For the supervised learning, would that be Monday through Thursday? Yes, we are providing that Monday through Thursday. Okay, yep, like once a week. And at this point, again, like it's totally based on availability. We want to do what we can to help support parent needs, just because we know this is a difficult situation. And so as long as there is availability, we can be flexible with the supervised learning days as long as it's from the time, the 8:30 to 2:30 time frame. Right, and like I'm seeing like a few of those come up, like a once a week supervised. So we'll actually absolutely look at our schedule to make sure, but they keep those questions coming, and if that is a need, we have some flexibility with that as well, due to our numbers right now and having some slots available. When do we find out what the email address will be for our students? Teachers have those. They should. Shannon, you may be better to answer this one if teachers are sending that out or when that access occurs.
Yeah, so teachers have the login information, and I believe they are giving it to the students at their pre-assessment time on a login card. But the teachers have all of that now. So if you don't have a pre-assessment time set up, or you already had yours and didn't get that login, go ahead and contact your teacher, and we can get you that.
Great, thank you. For students who are doing supervised learning, do we need to reserve a device or anything if we know that we'll need one? Nope, we will already have those set out for students showing up for supervised learning. And then we are accounting for everybody in supervised learning, but again, if you're bringing your device, then that's great. But we have that already to go for everybody who is signed up.
If you mark on that supervised learning form that you could provide a device, we ask that you do bring that on Monday. And we have been counting on those devices as well. So if something has changed, please let us know and we'll make sure we have a device for your kid. But if you did mark yes, please bring that with your child on Monday.
All right. Are accounts active now so we can get ready for Monday? Yes, accounts should be active as teachers are sending out everything for their web pages. They will be sending those out as they go live. So you might have some access to it, but everything is not loaded at this time, but student accounts are. interested in supervised learning for a morning or an afternoon block? That's a great question that we've been thinking about. Let us come together as a team and look at our schedule, and if that's possible, we'll be sending out that information right away. I know that that may be really helpful for families. Yes, will you make an announcement if when something like that might be available, the once a week per supervised learning? Yes, we will send out a message that you can sign up for that when that becomes available. Again, I just want to make sure we go back through and look at what we're able to accommodate before just opening that up. But I hear you that that would be really helpful. So tomorrow that will be one of our top priorities to work on, and we will get something sent out as soon as possible. Do you want all the school supplies be brought in on the first day? Some parents are bringing them in now for this pre-assessment time and dropping them off. You can bring some on the first day as well. That's kind of up to you. I know teachers are taking them right now, so but I know that first day can be kind of rough as well. So if you want to bring them in during pre-assessment, we're here, or first day, whichever works. And thank you very much. You guys are doing a great job. It's always nice to hear that. It's been a very interesting journey, that's for sure. All right, again, I'm definitely hearing that once a week supervised learning is a want and a need. If students in the supervised program do have to quarantine, will they lose their spot in the program? No, they will not lose their spot. That will be their spot unless you contact us and choose to take them out of that program, but they will not lose their spot due to a quarantine. Will there still be before and after school care for those in supervised remote learning? Not at this time. We had to shift our funding that typically goes to our before and after school care to provide the care for during the day. So at this point in time, we don't have the funding to do it, but we're always looking for different grants and ways to provide extended day programming. So we'll keep you posted if that ever does become an option, but at this point, it's just during the day. For the first day of school for kindergarten, will I be able to come in or just do a drop-off? We can't have you in the building, unfortunately, but our teachers are super creative and we'll all be out front ready to make something special for those kinders on that first day. And we also know that parents need a little bit of time and to say goodbye and even wipe some tears away or do pictures. So we'll make sure that's set up so you can have that moment. It's a special one and we definitely don't want to take that away from you. What mental health resources are available? We are working closely with our school psychologist to make sure we have some resources here in our building, as well as the county for additional resources. If anything specific is needed, we can always go ahead and find that. We are doing what we can as far as our social emotional learning piece for students built into all of our classrooms, and teachers are being really thoughtful about that and creating mindfulness times during morning meeting to really help students connect with how they're feeling right now. Is there a cap on the supervised learning? Currently there is, well, yes, we know how many spots that we can have for supervision currently. Again, if we exceed that to the point where it would make sense to hire somebody else, we will dive into that at that time. However, we're not there yet, so but our goal is to be able to accommodate everybody who would need that option. What about the tuition? Shannon, do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yes, so there is no tuition. We do have our consumable materials fee. We're currently looking at how we might adjust that for online learning, though the majority of that fee, actually all of that fee goes towards consumable materials, And so we're looking at what that would look like for the workbooks that you take home and the subscriptions that we need for online learning. And so more information about that will come out, but that's a board level decision. And so we have to have that at the board, at a board meeting, make that decision, and then we'll communicate that out with families. It certainly would not go up, but it will probably go down.
Great, thank you for jumping in, Shannon. All right. In remote learning classes, will kids have time to interact virtually? The answer is yes. Our teachers are trying to do as much live stuff as possible, and even small group work, doing morning meetings and check-ins with students. We do want everybody to have time to interact with each other. We are also recording many lessons and many opportunities so you can access them later, because we know it doesn't work for everybody to necessarily jump on live at the same time every day. So there will be opportunities, but if you can't make those, it's okay. You still get some additional opportunities later, and you can access those for all the information. What about for pre-assessment drop-off? I think you may be referring to coming inside with your student. The teacher meets you out front. We have designated areas. You can see the grade level with the teacher's name on it, and they will meet you out there and do a nice little meet and greet so you can get to see them, know them, ask questions, introduce yourself, and then the student comes inside for their pre-assessment. If I did not get that question right, please go ahead and type in more so I can answer it. When in-person learning resumes, will EDP be available at that time? Yes, it will go back to the before and after school care at that time. A link for resources for mental health would be great. We will definitely work on that and see what we can build in, and even access it into teacher web pages as well as the AAK homepage. Yep, good for remote learning. Can we do any fundraising? I'd love to help provide any support as possible. Yes, we actually just kind of talked today about like PTO coming back together and like what can we do. Something that is so special about this community that, I mean, I've only come in during the virtual world to this community, yet it's so close, it's so tight knit, and we don't want to lose that. So any ideas people have, like, please let me know. We want to keep our community, we want to keep interacting, we want to be available, we want to provide resources. Like having fundraising opportunities is a great way to bring people together. So we're always open to hearing thoughts and ideas to see what we can do for our school and for all of our students. So yep, keep those ideas coming. I would also like to put out kind of an ask. I'm looking to put together our school accountability committee, and that committee comes together 4 times a year and looks at our data, our UIP that we turn into the state that kind of guides us and gives feedback, and we talk about just kind of the direction we want to go and if we're meeting our targets that we said we want to target. And right now I don't have anybody on that committee. So I'm looking for just 3 or 4 parents who would be willing to do that. The meetings at this point will be through Zoom, so it makes it a little bit easier. And again, it's only 4 throughout the year, so not a huge commitment. But you get to see kind of the data side of what we're doing and the data piece that we turn into the state, and provide feedback on it. And so I'm looking for anybody who would be interested in that. So if you are, please shoot me an email and hopefully we can get something put together. I think Zoom meetings like this with some consistency would be great. Yep, absolutely, I agree. That's a great idea to do these way more often. All right, and see a giving tree for teachers need. Will there be another way for teachers' wish list items to be available to the community? That is a great idea. I hadn't even thought of that. So I'm so happy you brought it up. I'm sure we can come up with something. I can put that on my list as a think about, or if any of you have any other great ideas, we could put something out front, like in the very front entryway that isn't into the school, just into the building. We could definitely have something put out there that would look amazing. And then if you're interested, look at it and see what you could provide for teachers. All right, are there any other questions? Oh. Oh, an Amazon wish list link, that would be great. You've got us thinking. So we will work on what that could be for teachers. I'm gonna even make a note right now so I don't forget. And then we'll share out the recording of this since it's all recorded, so you'll get all the questions and answers through that. All right, the other building occupants upstairs in the building, they have remained closed. They have one manager who has been coming in, and that closure has been extended, so they are currently not all in the building. And that should not impact our operation as far as outbreaks, because they have one person who is in there who does not come in contact with any of our school community. I saw something about take a book, leave a book library. Oh, it is so amazing. Yes, it's in our very front lobby. So right where you come in, it used to be like where the front office was last year. That has now turned into our take a book, leave a book. We also have gently used uniforms out there that you are more than welcome. If you need something, please take it. If you have something to donate, we would love to put that out for other families and other items and supplies that you may need throughout this journey. So that is in that very front lobby. Please feel free to use it. All right. Oh, great question. Are uniforms required for in-person or supervised remote learning? So we have, due to this year looking the way it does, we have worked with our board and have relaxed our uniform requirements for this year. So we're just asking for solid shirts or plain shirts that with no logos on them or wording, and then plain pants. So they can be jeans. They just need to be plain. We do ask that shoes are like comfortable shoes where if they go out to recess, like they're staying on their feet. We don't want flip flops to go flying. But not nearly as strict as it was before. We don't want anybody going out and buying clothes specifically for this, since that most of it is going to be remote. So the kids who are in the building, it will be much more relaxed. All right, any other questions? Again, if you think of something, please feel free to shoot me an email. I just wanted to thank everybody for taking the time to jump on tonight and ask these great questions. And I also really appreciate all the positive comments and how supportive everybody has been. I know this is not ideal. We were really hoping for in-person learning. We're going to continue to do the best that we can and support you in any way that we can. So keep talking to us, keep letting us know how you're doing. And yes, and the uniforms are relaxed for the entire year. But again, thank you. We will take having this maybe even once a month into consideration. It is good to connect with everybody. Thank you for welcoming me into the Academy of Arts and Knowledge community. You are all amazing. All right, well, we'll go ahead and just hang on here for a little bit longer in case there's any last questions that pop up. But other than that, thank you so much and have a great evening.